Good afternoon, class. Today I'm going to discuss about skeletal system. But before that, I would like to apologize if ever na-delay na tayo ng sobra. But rest assured, I will try my best to discuss yung mga pwedeng lumabas sa exams nyo and yung mga possible things na you need to know as you go on your profession. So basically, didiscuss ko na lang kung ano yung sa tingin kong importante. I will focus more on the physiology over sa anatomy. But, syempre, dapat balance lang tayo pag nag-aaral. But, syempre, alam niyo naman to basically from your biology class and syempre from your lower years, no? So, kaya I will try to discuss more of the deeper details na mga bagay na hindi nyo pa nadidiscuss. So, anyway, let's proceed na po. So, basically, as you all know naman, that skeletal system, ang skeleton comes from a Greek word meaning dried. Consists of dynamic living tissues that are able to grow, detect pain, stimuli, adapt to stress, and undergo repair after injury. So, kung makikita nyo naman dito, class, yung pinaka-breakdown of other things na pwedeng maiambag ng skeletal sa katawan natin. So, unang-una naka-mention dito yung it protects internal organs, stores and releases fat. So, unahin natin yung protects internal organs. So, alam naman natin, no, na even we were babies, no, syempre, sa una malambot talaga. And later, I will discuss that as well. Pero syempre, as a person na tumanda na, lumaki na, napapansin nyo naman, class, na hindi naman kayo malalambot. Syempre, yung mga malalambot na part na yan is usually mga fats. Pero apart from that, si skeletal system is parang pinaka-framework. Yun nga, yun naman yung pinaka-technical term for skeletal system. Siya yung pinaka-framework ng katawan natin. So, kung wala kayong skeletal system, para na kayong si Baymax, no? Yung parang balloon. Or, pwede kayong maging parang slime. Kumbaga, so imagine nyo yung compared with a structure na meron tayong skeletal system. So in a way, parang siya yung nag-i-establish ng stature natin and overall composition natin as a person, kung bakit tayo nakakaupo, nakakahiga, nakaka-move, no? So there are things that you need to focus on. So, ayan. So, next, yung stores and releases fat. So, basically, we will discuss that more under the marrow. So, kung naalala or kung hindi nyo pa aware, meron tayong dalawang klaseng marrow which we will discuss later with red marrow versus yellow marrow, okay? So, kung nagbasa kayo, medyo magiging familiarized na kayo dito. But later on, I will still discuss it anyway. And syempre, meron din tayong stores and minerals na involve sa buto natin. So, pag-uusapan din yan natin, i-rationalize natin paano siya nangyayari, okay? And as I have mentioned, no, siya din yung tumutulong sa movement. So, apart from protection, it helps us in terms of movement, no? Kaya tayo nakakagalaw. So, kung wala tayong bones, yung sense of direction ng ating movement will not be smooth. Kasi nga, siya, kumbaga, in terms of movement, parang hindi siya magiging consistent. Kasi nga, magiging flabby tayo, no? Kung wala tayong buto. And then, meron din tayong it supports the body. So, pag nagbubuhat tayo, or pag nagbubuhat tayo ng tao, or pag nagkakarga ng gamit, or even in protecting ourselves in case of accident, pag nadudulas, no? So, basically, skeletal system is a vital part of the body. So, next naman, yung joints, where two bones come together, which is yun nga yung na-mention ko kanina, siya yung tumutulong sa facilitation ng movement, okay? So, yan lang naman yung mga ilan sa kailangang pag-usapan natin. So, as I mentioned, no, as a support, kung makikita nyo, class, yung pinaka-structure dito, may makikita kayong synovial fluid, meron tayong ligament, cartilage, no? Ito yung mga iilan sa mga contributing factors in order to support our skeletal system. Pag itong mga to is wala sa katawan nyo, class, magiging makunat yung mga movements nyo. Like, konting galaw nyo lang, may tumutunog na dyan, para ka nang matanda. Kasi usually, class, as you age, nagde-deteriorate tong composition na to. Kaya nga very essential na nag-exercise tayo, nag-hydrate, and proper diet kasi may malaking contribution yan with these important components in supporting our body, especially our joints, no? And take note of the difference of cartilage and ligament. Ano ba pinagkaiba nila? So, syempre, kung makikita niya rin sa structure, no, iba yung purpose ni cartilage versus dun sa ligament. So, sa cartilage, it provides firm yet flexible support within certain structures such as the nose, external ear, thoracic cage, and trachea, while the ligaments are strong bands of fibrous connective tissues that attach to bones and hold them together. So, sa madaling salita, si cartilage, parang yan yung cushion na tumutulong sa pag-support sa mga joints natin, while si ligament, siya pa yung nagdidikit ng mga joints together. So, kung wala si ligament class, kakalas-kalas yung mga buto nyo, no? So, kumbaga, hindi siya magiging in place, especially to the areas of the joints. So, kaya cartilage and ligaments work together. So, kung makikita nyo dito, class structure, makikita nyo, nakalagay siya in between the joints. So, kapag yung cartilage nyo na yan, as I have mentioned na to before, kung hindi ako nagkakamali class, no? Pag ang cartilage, usually nga, nagtithining yan as you age, kaya doon nagkakaroon ng sakit sa joints, arthritis, and if ever lack of synovial fluid, that is also a factor that could lead to pain, no, sa cartilage. So, kaya nga they work as a team para ma-stabilize yung joints natin at parang magkaroon ng lubrication. So, take note, si synovial fluid is the one that lubricates your joints. Okay? So, pakisulat na lang kasi hindi ko siya naisama dito sa technical terms. But, as you observe naman, kung wala yung synovial fluid class, yung movement ng cartilage nyo, hindi siya, kumbaga, tumutulong siya para hindi magbanggaan directly yung mga buto nyo. Parang siya yung nagbibigay ng proper amount of spacing para hindi masaktan yung mga joints nyo, no? Kaya, very important yan, okay? Next. So, as we all know naman, logically speaking naman, kung pag-uusapan natin protection, very obvious naman ang tulong ng skeletal system natin. So, kaya kapag mapapansin nyo, kapag nababangga kayo sa tagiliran, hindi kayo kagad namamatay, or kapag, kunwari, nagtumbling ka, or nadulas ka, hindi ka kagad namamatay, it's because partly, malaking tulong ang skeletal system. And kung makikita nyo naman yung skull natin, no, pag nauntog tayo, hindi naman tayo kaagad namamatay, it's because of our skull. So, isang malaking magandang example is itong mga certain parts of our body. So, the skull encloses and protects the brain. So, na-mention ka na. And si vertebrae surrounds the spinal cord. So, hindi fully exposed si spinal cord, na coveran pa siya nung vertebrae, which helps in fully exposing yung spinal cord. Kasi as we all know, no, konting damage lang sa spinal cord natin, that could lead to paralysis or whatever complications na pwede nyo maisip na that could lead to complications sa part ng patient, no? Pwede siyang mamatay, paraplegic and quadriplegic, you know. Lahat yan, malaking factor yan. So, kaya si vertebrae malaking tulong sa pag-protect ng spinal cord and sa rib cage, as you all know, yung lungs natin, no? So, kapag kayo ay nababangga, no, or biglang tumitigil yung mga kotse, no, hindi kayo kaagad nagkakaroon ng internal bleeding or internal injury because of your rib cage, no. So, even sa CPR nyo, no, pag kayo ay nag-CPR, yan yung isa sa mga bagay na inaalagaan natin, no, hindi ka directly papump nung heart, no, with your contact. So, kaya nga, with CPR, there's a required force para ma-establish mo na nag-CPR ka ng maayos. It's basically because kapag hindi ka nag-apply ng pressure enough sa rib cage nyo, hindi matatap yung heart nyo, which doesn't make sense kapag hindi ka marunong. So kaya in the future, hopefully, maturuan kayo about CPR. And if we have the time in the future, I will try my best na bigyan ko kayo ng pahapyaw or even demonstrate on how CPR is done, no? Face to face. Pero anyway, just to give you the background, so napaka-importante ng rib cage natin, no? Even kapag kunwaring nasiko tayo or kumbaga may tumulak sa'yo or kunwari nadapa ka, gumulong ka, basically, yan yung mga purpose ng ano nyo. So, sa madaling salita, it protects your internal organs, okay? So, next, sorry. So, that would be yung movement nyo. Malaking factor din ang skeletal system sa movement. Dahil without the skeletal system, yung muscles nyo, class, no? They are like best friend, no? When they make a movement. Kasi without your muscles and without the skeletal system working, walang movement na magaganap. So, kung makikita nyo dito, ang pinakamalaking ambag sa movement nyo with connection to your muscle and to your skeletal system is yung tendon nyo. So, kung as it is mentioned, it is a strong bands of connective tissue that attach skeletal muscles to bones. So, take note, class, that is your tendons, okay? Tendons is a strong bands of connective tissue that attach skeletal muscles to bones, okay? So, paki-take note, sorry class na hindi ka na na-note yung tendon. So, that is the definition of tendon. So, sa pinaka-promotor, when it comes to movement, is yung tendon nyo. Yun lang yung isipin nyo, ha? So, next, may dalawa pang, ito nga, na-mention ko na kanina. There are a lot of there's two important minerals that are involved in your bones. So, alam nyo na class to dahil mula bata pa lang and even as you age, no? Basically, ito yung laging sinasabi nila, kailangan mo uminom ng maraming gatas para lumaki ka and what so, no? Para lumaki, tumangkad, and which is very true naman. Pero ang basically bida dito is si calcium and phosphorus. Kaya nga in cases of problems sa buto, for example, konting galaw lang, lalo na sa as you age kasi class, no, nagkakaroon ng deterioration, no. This is very common, especially if the female, take note class, female is one of the most targeted population when it comes to this deterioration ng buto. It's because of menopause. And menopause has a vital contributing factor dahil may mga hormones na nagkukos ng lubrication ng mga buto din natin as women, no? Sa mga lalaki kasi medyo late yan late adrenopause, no, in terms of structure issues, no? Pero kasi sa babae maraming hormones ang nawawala once na mag-menopause, and partly apart from that, calcium, take note class, is usually a cofactor to some enzymes and even sa mga hormones nyo. So, basically, hindi lang siya pampatibay ng buto, but it is also an activator sa mga other important hormones na that could contribute, for example, in terms of your flexibility and syempre yung integrity ng mga buto nyo. Kaya nga, there's what you call the test na bone density. And apart from bone density, chine-check din class na madalas is yung calcium. And syempre yung phosphorus nyo minsan, madalas yan kapag in cases of osteoporosis or even kahit arthritis pa nga lang class, no? Kasi nga, it doesn't mean na pag masakit yung joints nyo, arthritis kaagad ang issue. Possible din is yung mga buto nyo, rumurupok na. So, kaya nga naka-mention dito class, are stored in bone. Should blood levels of these minerals decrease, the minerals are released from bone into the blood. Many bones contains cavities filled with red bone marrow, which produces blood cells and platelets. So, apart from your calcium and phosphorus, nakikita nyo dito class, no? In blood cell production, malaki ang tulong ng buto nyo. So, kung maalala nyo class, doon nagaganap talaga yung pag-produce ng ating mga blood cells. So, kaya mapapansin nyo, kung may nanonood man kayo ng teleserye with regards to anemia or leukemia, may tinatawag tayong marrow, tawag dito, marrow transplant, yung mga ganun. Kasi basically, anong ginagawa doon? Masakit man marinig, pero ang ginagawa sa marrow transplant or testing, no, para i-assess yung production ng blood cells nyo, usually, ang ginagawa, dinidrill yung sa part ng balakang. Take note, doctor naman ang gumagawa niyan, pero as a nurse, as usual, as mentioned ko naman, lagi kayong nakakalat sa hospital. So, most probably kayo mag-a-assist sa mga doctors with regards to such procedures, and kayo din nagmo-monitor ng mga vitals and etc. Katulad, kasama yung mga anesthesiologist if ever there is a procedure na gagawin. So, kaya isa sa mga bagay na pag-uusapan din natin, no? So, malaking tulong yan sa katawan, okay? We will discuss the extracellular matrix. Ang buto, akala nyo sa isang itsura, no, kung kumakain kayo ng fried chicken or spare ribs, no, makikita nyo yung thickness ng buto. So, hindi lang yan sa iisang tingin mo, iisa lang yung composition yan. Take note, class, in order to have that kind of composition, maraming kailangan i-breakdown natin in order to understand its structure and kung bakit siya ganun. Bakit sa lahat ng structure ng katawan natin, bakit nga ba ang buto yung pinakamatigas? Bakit sa iba malambot? So, ito yung mga pag-uusapan natin dito, okay? So, tandaan, no? Collagen is one of the most important factor na meron tayo sa skeletal system, no? So, kaya kung mapapansin nyo, class, no, bukod sa mukhang dry ang buto natin, take note, merong konting, parang medyo slippery pa siya ng onte. Kung kaya nga mapapansin nyo, class, no, yung buto, hindi lang siya yung parang rough na pag hinawakan mo, may konting smoothness yan pag hinawakan nyo or pag kumakain kayo ng chicken, di ba, kung nakikita nyo, smooth yung edges, no? Hindi siya yung super rough na parang magaspang in a way pag hinahawakan. It's because of your collagen. Okay, class? Take note, sorry, excuse me. So, collagen is a tough, rope-like structure, while proteoglycans are large molecules consisting of many polysaccharides attaching to and encircling core proteins. So, tandaan nyo, class, may dalawa tayong important structure. Meron tayong collagen and proteoglycans that composed of our bones. Okay? So, kapag may nagkulang dito, class, expect nyo din, magkakaroon ng impact yan sa integrity ng skeletal bones nyo. Okay? So, the extracellular matrix of tendons and ligaments contain large amounts of collagen fibers, making these structures very tough, like ropes or cables. So, dahil kay collagen, nagmumukha siyang matigas, siya ang nagko-compose ng pinaka-outer structure. Kaya nga extracellular, ibig sabihin outside of the cell, yan yung pumapalibot dun sa cellular structure, no? So, apart from collagen, na-mention ko na nga rin yung composition or purpose ng proteoglycans, no? So, collagen makes cartilage tough. So, take note, dahil kay collagen, nagiging tough din yung cartilage nyo. Whereas the water-filled proteoglycans makes it smooth and resilient, no? So, apart sa pagkinis din ng collagen, no, pampatibay, nandyan din si proteoglycans para tulungan si collagen para bukod sa malambot siya, nagiging matibay din siya. So, yan yung parang pinaka-partnership ni collagen and proteoglycans. Okay? So, the extracellular matrix of bone and contains collagen and minerals including calcium and phosphate. Ayan. So, apart from collagen and proteoglycans, paulit-ulit na, si calcium and phosphate may malaking ambag sa extracellular matrix ng buto. Most of the mineral in the bone is the form of calcium, phosphate, crystals, and hydroxyapatite. So, itong si hydroxyapatite, class, hindi lang ito yung huling-huling yung maririnig siya dito. Take note, class, kapag mahilig kayo kumain ng mga calcium-rich foods na nagkukos ng breakdown, yun nga, minerals na nagko-compose ng buto, no? Kaya pag hindi kayo mahilig mag-inom ng tubig, so kung maaalala nyo, class, nagkakaroon ng kidney stones. So basically, ito yung tinatawag nating hydroxyapatite or calcium phosphate crystals. Take note, class, there are different kinds of crystals na namumuo sa katawan natin. But si calcium phosphate is a major contributing factor that could lead to kidney stones. Kaya nga class, no, kapag sinasabing balanced diet, no, hindi lang kayo, forget hindi kayo mahilig sa gulay o galit kayo sa gulay. And take note pala, although take note, there are gulay na merong ganitong composition. Kaya nga as I have mentioned, kailangan balance, no? Because too much of this, calcium phosphate crystals, pwede siyang lumabas sa ihi nyo. Ayun nga, as I have said, pwede siyang mag-form into kidney stones. So, later in the future topics, no, pag-uusapan din natin bakit siya nabubuo kapag dumaan na tayo sa kidney and urinary system and etc. We will just discuss that just to give you a background or overview kung bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng kidney stone. It's because of these crystals din, just to give you information, no, na good to know din at the same time. But take note class, normal lang naman talagang magkaroon. Kaya nga tayo merong kidney to filter this kind of things in a normal level. Pag nasosobrahan nga class, may certain limitation lang talaga yung kidney natin. Pag nahirapan na sila mag-filter, doon na sila talaga namumuo. Okay? So, ito class, isa sa mga in-example lang na mga sakit na pwedeng makuha ng isang baby, or it's a genetic disease na hindi naman siya common, but a skeletal disease that could affect the growth and even the lifetime of these people, no? So, sa brittle bone disease or osteogenesis imperfecta means imperfect bone formation. It is a rare disorder caused by any one of a number of faulty genes that results in either too little collagen formation or poor quality collagen. As a result, the bone matrix has decreased flexibility and is more easily broken than normal. So, kung makikita nyo dito sa pictures, no, yung consistency nung laman ng buto nyo, from the compact bone and even sa spongy bone nyo, nakikita nyo, very maliliit lang yung mga butas niya. Very compressed yung spongy bones nyo. Pag nakita nyo dito sa brittle bone, no, napakalaki ng mga butas, no, spongy bones, or in terms of spacing sa loob ng buto nyo, from compact bone to spongy bone, nakikita nyo, wala siyang super dami niyang spaces, which leads to pagiging brittle, no? So, ano ba yung mga indication, no? Pag baby pa lang. Kapag makikita nyo dito, pasensya na class, no? Medyo nakakrop siya. Pero, yan yung summary, no? Malapad daw yung ulo. Tapos, tend to deafness din, no? As it develops. Bakit? As we all know, class, di ba sa tenga natin mayroong buto dyan? Which is the smallest bone, no? Di-discuss natin later. And, syempre, poor teeth din. And, syempre, pagdating sa mata, may mga indications din. Barrel chest rounded, no? So, medyo hindi maganda yung hugis ng pagkakaano ng katawan niya. It's because may impact nga sa buto. And, syempre, dahil nga may problem sa bones, no? Pati yung development din ng legs niya, no? Medyo maliit. And, madaling ang mabali, as mentioned dito, no? It's because of the genetic defect of too little collagen formation or poor quality collagen production due to genetic defect, no? So, take note lang yung pinaka diagnosis and symptoms ng isang brittle bone disease na tinatawag, or ang tinatawag na osteogenesis imperfecta. So, kung alam niyo naman from the word imperfecta, so, hindi siya perfect. Genesis means the beginning. So, in the beginning of the production ng buto nyo or yung pag-establish ng bones is not perfect. So, para hindi kayo mahirapan, no? Kaya nga imperfect bone formation. Pinaganda lang yung pangalan. So, take note, let's discuss na sa general features of bones. Meron tayong long bones and short bones, may flat at irregular bones. Okay? So, sa long bones, it consists of a central shaft called the diaphysis. Paki-take note ha. Kaya naka-bold class, it's because you need to know and you need not to forget dahil importanteng composition siya ng long bones ha. It consists of central shaft called the diaphysis, two ends each called an epiphysis or epiphysis, no? So, it depends on you, pero feeling ko epiphysis to, sorry class, no? A thin layer of articular cartilage covers the ends of the epiphysis where the bone articulates joints, sorry for the technical typo error, with other bones. So, structure of long bones. So, kung makikita nyo class, no, napakadaming ganap sa loob ng buto. So, imagine nyo na lang class pag kumakain kayo ng chicken wings, ganyan, or bulalo. Iisipin nyo muna class, no, kung ano yung mga composition yan. So, microscopically speaking, ito yung parang pinaka-breakdown ng anatomy ng long bones. So, kung makikita nyo, yung osteons or yung tinatawag nating Haversian systems, nakikita nyo mga bilog-bilog doon sa pinakataas, no, yung malalaking tuldok, yan yung osteons nyo. Si endosteum, no, nasa loob siya, no, ng loob ng buto nyo kasama yung spongy bones nyo, no. So, parang siya yung pinaka-korte ng loob ng long bones nyo. And si periosteum naman, siya yung outer surface, no. So, kung makikita nyo, may dalawang layer, no. Yung inner layer, makikita nyo, medyo manipis na. Yung outer layer, nakikita nyo, medyo malapad. So, kaya class, makikita nyo, no, merong mga arteries and veins surrounding the bones. Kaya mapapansin nyo, kapag nagbubunot ng ngipin or pag nabalian ng buto, anong nangyayari? Nagkakaroon ng pagdugo, and at the same time, most probably, dahil meron din tong nerves class, no, masakit din to. Pag na-expose din yung nerves nyo, which is yun yung nagiging dahilan kung bakit sumasakit ang ngipin, exposure of nerves. And syempre, na-expose yung mga pinaka-inner layers niyan class. Take note, may mga dugo-dugo rin yan class, which affects our entire being. Take note, konting exposure din ng dugo class. Kaya nga mapapansin nyo, sa ngipin, kailangan siyang bunutin. Bakit? Lalo na pag nabubulok. Bakit? It's because, alam nyo, na-mention ko kanina, yung blood cell production, doon nangyayari. So, ang nangyayari, if hindi nyo ginawa ng action yan, take note class, the area kung saan naka-expose ang buto, there is a high chance of exposure ng bacteria. So, that leads to possible sepsis. Kaya, class, don't take lightly kapag kunaring may nasasaktan na sa ngipin nyo. Sasabihin nyo, hindi pa naman masakit, okay lang. Pero, wag kayong magtataka, class, kapag yung ngipin nyo, hindi nyo, for example lang talaga ngipin, kasi basically, siguro once in your lifetime na bunutan na kayo ng ngipin. Swerte na lang kung hindi pa, but, in a logical sense class, no, kapag masakit ang ngipin, super intentional yung sakit, it's because apart from the nerves, meron dyang arteries and veins. Yun nga, pag na-expose, mapapansin nyo, pag hindi nyo pinansin, namamaga, minsan, ng worst case scenario, nilalagnat na. And kung mapapansin nyo din, minsan, kapag masakit ang ngipin nyo, pag hindi nyo pinansin, minsan, naapektuhan din yung throat because it's a response of your body to infection, no. Anyway, going back to bones. So, yun lang naman yung isa sa mga gusto kong i-highlight, no. So, ano ba kailangan nyo pang alamin sa structure of long bones? So, nandito, epiphyseal plate or yung growth plate. So, from the word growth plate, common sense naman, ongoing bone growth. So, diyan nangyayari class yung pagtangkad nyo, yung paglaki nyo, nung batang-bata pa lang kayo. And, that's what happens with your body, no? So, siya yung tumutulong sa paglaki nyo. And take note class, meron syempreng deadline sa paglaki, no? So, sa mga nangangarap dyan na tumangkad, no? Kung nasa 18 to 20 na kayo class, medyo wag na kayong umasang tumangkad unless nagpa-opera kayo or nagkaroon kayo ng enhancement or kung kayo ay nakadiscover ng mga special medication para tumangkad. Pero it doesn't tawag dito, hindi kayo exempted to the rule na for lifetime na yan. Kasi may mga risk din pala class, no, pag pinilit nyong tumangkad pa at tapos may mga iniinom kayo, ha, be careful of what you take, no. So there are complications with that concept, no? Kasi may time, no, may reason kung bakit siya tumitigil. And if hindi tumigil yon, for example, si growth hormone, which is a very helpful tool, no, in our growth. Just to give you a slight background or information, pag may mga certain hormones na hindi na dapat nag-e-exist sa katawan nyo, class, medyo matakot na kayo. That is one of the possible reasons kung bakit nagkakaroon ng cancer, no? And take note, class, there are a lot of cancers out there na hindi nyo pa napag-aaralan, but if you're going to be a doctor, sobrang daming cancer related to any flaw lang sa process ng katawan nyo, malaking factor yan, okay? So, let's proceed na. Sorry, ang dami kong sinasabi, but just to give you an appreciation kung ano yung importance ng limitations ng katawan natin, okay? So, yun lang yung mga minention kong part ng katawan nyo na sa tingin ko importante. Pero basically, much better, alamin nyo yung picture na to. Dibdibin nyo kasi hindi nyo alam. Baka pag sinipag ako, magpa-label ako ng parts. Pero given with your assignment, yung take-home quiz nyo, in-expect ko nakakapag-aral na kayo, naiintindihan nyo na ng onte yung breakdown of this structure, okay? So, epiphyseal line, when bone growth stops, the cartilage of each epiphyseal plate is replaced by bone. So, itong si epiphyseal line, siya yung nagsiset ng boundaries. Kaya nga may line, ibig sabihin, yun yung nagsiset ng boundaries kung kailan titigil yung paglaki ng buto nyo. So, when bone growth stops, ayan nga, the cartilage of each epiphyseal plate is replaced by bone, no? So, kapag tumubo na nga yung ng bone, siya yung nagsiset, no, na parang, okay, stop na yung pag-produce mo. Kasi take note, class, another issue na naman yan pag sakaling hindi nag-function tong si epiphyseal line nyo. Okay? So, bone contains cavities. So, take note. Ha? May mga cavities tayo sa buong katawan natin, sa buto. Okay? So, ang tinatawag natin dyan is medullary cavity in the diaphysis as well as smaller cavities in the epiphysis of long bones and in the interior of other bones. Okay? So, na-mention ko na to just to give you the technical on how you will discuss ano difference ni periosteum and endosteum. Tandaan, class, peri means outside. So, kaya pag manghuhula kayo, class, ng structure or pag magpapalabel ng parts, basta tandaan nyo si peri laging nasa labas, si endo laging nasa loob, okay? So, just not, from the technical word kasi, yung peri means out, endo means inside. So, periosteum is most of the outer surface of bone is covered by dense connective tissue, which is referring dito sa periosteum. It consists of 2 layers and contains blood vessels and nerves. So, kaya, class, no, pag yun nga, sumasakit yung ngipin nyo, ulitin ko, ang sisisihin nyo na composition ng part ng buto nyo is yung periosteum nyo. Or pag nagkaroon kayo ng fracture, or, ayun nga, pag na-sprain kayo, partly si periosteum yung may contributing factor dyan, no? Ito, feeling ko nagka-technical wording lang ako dito. Yeah, tama. Mali yung spelling ko dito, class. So, take note of the wrong spelling. Tanggalin yung letter T sa endosteum, ha? Endosteum yung tamang spelling, okay? So, nakita nyo naman sa picture, okay? The surface of the medullary cavity is lined with a thinner connective tissue membrane, okay? Tandaan, the surface of the medullary cavity is lined with a thinner connective tissue membrane. So, bukod sa medullary cavity nyo, which is yun yung composition ng mga spaces sa loob ng spongy bones nyo, meron tayong endosteum, parang siya yung pinaka parang membrane bago ka makapasok ng spongy bone, no? So, parang siya yung pinaka-thin layer in order to see the spongy bones, no? Next, ito na. Yung pinaka-paborito na kailangan medyo aware kayo kasi nga bakit kayo nga yung nag-a-assist, kayo gumagawa ng medical reports para sa mga doctors nyo or pag may pinapagawang procedure, at least medyo aware kayo on ano yung mga nangyayari sa kapaligiran nyo, no? So, very important to class, okay? So, si yellow marrow and red marrow. So, kung maalala nga, na-mention ko na, no, kung kumakain ka kayo ng bulalo, or pag nagsisip-sip kayo ng mga buto, no? So, kung mas ma-appreciate nyo, na-visualize nyo na most probably, or kung for example, gusto nyo makita talaga yung itsura niyan, hanap kayo ng chicken joy, or pag nag-ulam kayo ng mga manok, pwede nyong baliin. Take note class, since matigas nga, pwede kayong magkutsilyo, no? Kung meron kayo, or kung may matigas kayong gunting, pwede nyong guntingin yung buto para lang makita or ma-appreciate nyo to. Pero take note ka, syempre, lutong version na yan. Kaya mag-iiba talaga kulay kasi nga, pag medyo nag-red pan ako, kumain kayo ng hilaw, no? So, syempre, pag naluto na yun, most probably, nag-black na yan to slightly brownish or whatever. Pero most probably, mga ganong kulay, ibig sabihin luto na. Okay? So, anyway, let's go back to the topic. So, it's the cavity spaces are filled with soft tissue called marrow, no? So, si marrow, yan yung pinaka-composition, no? Kung bakit nagdudugo yung mga buto nyo sa loob, no? So, yan ang yung pinaka-vital importance. So, si yellow marrow consists mostly of adipose tissue. Take note, si yellow marrow yung parang pinakataba, no? As you all know naman before, adipose is fat cells, no? So, i-appreciate nyo talaga yung mga fats nyo kasi malaking ambag din yan sa structure ng katawan nyo as mentioned dito, no? And syempre meron din tayo red marrow, which is way more important din. Bakit? Kasi nandyan yung blood forming cells and it is the only site of blood formation in adults. So as you age talaga class, no? Kaya nga mapapansin nyo when it comes to cancer, no? Sa pelvic area lang talaga madalas kumukuha. Bakit sa mga bata? Marami kasing sites for collection kapag bata ka. Kasi nga, nasa developing stage ka pa talaga. So, may mga area pa na pwedeng gamitin. Usually, alam ko talaga hip bone yung pinaka-major area for assessment. And meron din tayo sa vertebrae natin. Pero either way, madalas, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, kapag adult, sa balakang kumukuha ng marrow. Kapag medyo bata-bata, di ko lang din sure. Pero kasi, meron din yan sa vertebra, I'm pretty sure, no? Pero, syempre, mas safe talaga sa hip. Pero, to each of its own, madalas talaga sa hip to kinokolek, okay? I will try my best to research on this part kasi hindi naman talaga ako nagpa-practice. Pero, sa mga napapanood ko, dalawa lang naman yung site of collection. It's either sa hip or dito sa vertebrae, okay? Pero syempre, in terms of sensitivity kasi, delikado si vertebrae. Kaya usually hip ang tina-target. No, kaya nga, very delicate talaga tong part na to. Kaya as a nurse, no, be very mindful sa pag-assist. Naku, lalo na pag kayo ay pinaghawak ng mga samples. Kasi usually kayo yung nauutusan mag-collect ay mag-assist, kayo din yung madalas nag-aabot sa mga orderly, kung meron pa kayong orderly o mga nurse aid, no? Parang lahat ng role natin as in the hospital na very vital yan. So, konting mali lang, no? That could lead to wrong diagnosis, that could also kill the patient, and etc. It cascades, no? So, next, no, sorry for the commercial, no? So, kung makikita nyo si red marrow, kung makikita nyo dito sa pinaka-structures, no? Meron tayong spongy bone, it contains the red marrow, no? So, kaya doon sa mga spaces na nakikita nyo doon sa sponge, no? Meron dyang dugo na lumalabas. And you can see din dito, may mga blood vessels na involved. Kaya, class, kung manunod kayo ng mga gera or certain car accident, or kung nanonood nga kayo ng mga medical drama, as I have usually do na-observe ko din naman. Pero syempre, some things are exaggerated, pero syempre, some things are accurate din naman in some ways, no? So, kung makikita nyo, di ba, kapag nababalian ng buto, usually, nagbi-bleeding. Or kapag may nababali, anong ginagawa madalas na action ng mga nasa palabas, nag-a-apply ng tourniquet? It's because As you all know, yung mga arteries natin, may mga connections din yan sa buto natin. And if hindi natalian yan, that could lead the death of the patient, no? Kaya nga, yung mga bali-bali sa buto, wag baliwalain, okay? It's because, yun nga, may mga veins dyan. And kapag hindi nyo, veins and arteries, no? Na pag hindi nyo na-actionan, that could lead to lack of oxygen, pwede magkaroon ng tissue death na tinatawag, or ang tinatawag natin technical term, yung apoptosis, no? Yung cell death ng bones natin, or the worst case scenario, no? Yung buong flow ng part kung saan nagkaroon ng accident, no? And which could lead to infection din as well, kasi nga pag hindi naayos yung, pag na-expose yung blood cells nyo, yan, yung mga hindi dapat pwedeng pumasok, as you all know, ang blood natin should be sterile. So, any form of exposure out of the environment that could lead to infection, no? And even sa blood cell production nyo, as mentioned nga dito, no? So, kung makikita nyo dito, nakalagay din yung breakdown ng red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets nyo. Okay? So, yan yung mga important factors to consider sa red marrow. Okay? So, kung makikita nyo, class, no, yung transition ng process ng marrow nyo. So, kung makikita nyo dito, no, yung phasing ng transition ng from infant, nakikita nyo, class, purely red marrow. So, kaya, class, in terms of complete blood cell count, no, as medtex kasi, so, anyway, just to give you an idea lang din, no, pagdating sa blood cell count ng babies, usually above normal range talaga ang hemoglobin composition and blood cell composition nyo because of this very reason, no? It's because of the red marrow fully exposed dun sa part ng bones ng baby, no? So, kaya nga, class, no, kapag kayo ay nag-doctor din in the future, huwag kayong makakabahan, no, pag may nakita kayong medyo slightly elevated or medyo elevated yung hemoglobin count, red blood cell count, or even the white blood cell count. Take note, class, may hiwalay na reference range kasi sa baby, sa adults, no? And if hindi pa ako nagkakamali, meron din sa child. Kaya may mga ganong reference ranges na naka-standardize for each age, no? Pero syempre merong pinaka-averaging para masabi mong as normal or not normal. Pero usually doctors ang nag-a-assess niyan. So just to give you an idea lang talaga, okay? So kung makikita nyo as the person ages, no, yung bone natin is natatabunan na ng yellow marrow that stabilizes the standard composition ng tawag dito ng dugo natin, no? Kaya nga, as you age, may naka-standard na set of reference range din for their complete blood cell count. So, kaya nga, di ba, na-mention kanina, no, yung sinabi kong iisang area lang yung option for taking the marrow. Makikita niyo naman kasi sa infant and sa child, medyo mas marami siyang option because of the access of the red marrow. Pero, syempre, yung purpose niyan is for the development as you grow. Syempre, yung buto nyo, lumalaki pa yan. So, kaya hindi pa siya fully nakastabilize to para mag-stop or mag-set yung production ng blood cells nyo, no? So, kaya yun yung isa sa mga importanteng i-consider nyo, okay? Next, eto na, ang histology of bones. No, kung naaalala nyo, class, no, may mga tissues and layering sa diniscuss natin, no, na-mention ko pag blast, ibig sabihin baby. Diyan yung parang pinaka-beginning or siya yung nag-i-initiate ng production ng mga cells nyo sa buto. And once na mag-mature, nagiging osteocytes. And, osteoclast, no, contributes to, ayun, yung pag-stop or contribute to bone repair and remodeling and by removing existing bone called bone reabsorption. So, yun ang iisipin nyo, class, no? Si osteoblast, dyan yung formation. Kasi nga, blast means the beginning of production. Okay? So, wag nyo masyadong overthink. Basta si osteoblast, yun yung histologic composition ng bones where the bones are being produced. And once it matures, no, yung osteoblast nyo, nagiging osteocytes, no? Kaya nga, it becomes surrounded by matrix, no? In the process of formation, nagiging osteocytes yung osteoblast nyo. And kapag na fully develop na yung osteocytes nyo, once na maging stable na yun, doon na papasok yung process nating osteoclast, okay? So, sa osteoblast lang, i-highlight ko lang ulit, si periosteum and endosteum ay nagko-compose dito sa osteoblast, okay? Si osteocytes naman, siya yung tumutulong sa pag-surround pa lang nung matrix nyo. And si osteoclast naman, tumutulong lang sa bone repair and remodeling by pagtanggal nung existing bone called bone reabsorption. And syempre class, no, kumbaga sa pagtayo ng building, no, nagkakaroon ng renovation na nangyayari. So basically, yan yung contribution ni osteoclast, okay? So, ano pa ba yung mga ibang importanteng part ng buto nyo? So, si lamella or lamellae, kung gusto nyo basahin, no, bone is formed in thin sheets of extracellular matrix, no? Lacunae, osteocytes located between the lamellae within spaces and mechaniculi cell process extend from osteocytes across the extracellular matrix of the lamellae within tiny canals. Compact bone is mostly solid matrix and calls spongy bone consists of a lacy network of bone with many small marrow-filled spaces. Kung alam niyo naman class, no, pag naguhugas kayo ng mga plato, no, kung naguhugas kayo, mapapansin niyo class, 'di ba? Yung texture and yung appearance ng sponge is parang may mga butas-butas na may capacity magpasok or mag-absorb ng tubig, no? So, in terms of pinaka-structure niya, that's how it was described, no? Spongy bone. And si compact, from the word solid matrix, no? So, kaya nagiging matigas from the word solid, kaya siya compact bone na tinatawag, okay? So, in order to appreciate, no, itong nakikita niyong osteons, no, yan yung molecular appearance ng osteons nyo pag sumilip kayo sa microscope, no? So, kung nakwento ko na nga ata to before, if I'm not mistaken, no, para siyang yung sa puno, no, yan yung parang kapag hinati niyo yung puno, nandyan yung, yung bark, no, may layering yan na nangyayari, no. So, basically, yun yung osteons nyo, no. So, yung concentric rings of lamellae, nandyan. Yung central canal, yun yung nakikita nyo malaking tuldok dun sa gitna, no. And then, nandyan din yung lacunae nyo, yung mga maliliit na tuldok-tuldok, yung pinakamalaki, yan yung central canal, okay? So, yan. Yan lang yung mga kailangan nyo tandaan, class, so far. So, osteons is the compact bone is predictable pattern of repeating units. Central canal of Haversian canal, osteon consists of concentric rings of lamellae. Ayan na. Nakikita nyo na yung pinaka-breakdown, no? From osteoblast, osteoclast, and then yung osteocytes nyo. Ayan, nandyan yung appearances, no? So, spongy bone is a very porous and is located in the epiphysis of long bone and lines the medullary cavity of long bones. It has less bone matrix and more open space than compact bone. So, sa pagiging marupok, mas marupok si spongy bone because of open spaces, no? Take note class, no? Naka-bold, ibig sabihin it's very important information na wag niyong kakalimutan. Trabeculae, spongy bone consists of delicate interconnecting rods or plates of bone, no? So, tandaan niyo si trabeculae, siya yung nag-i-interconnect ng mga rods or plates of bones, no? So, kung wala yung si trabeculae nyo, mas lalong lalala yung pagiging marupok niya, no? So, its spaces between the trabeculae are filled with marrow. Okay, next. Ito na. Okay, yan yung kailangan yung intindihan. Bakit? Kasi nga, hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, midwife ang humahawak sa baby. And syempre, kayo din yung nag-a-assist most of the time. 100% sure yan. Trabaho niya yan. Pag na-assign kayo sa labor room or sa, yun nga, delivery room, no? Most probably kayo yung mga unang hahawak, no? Sa mga babies. So, ano ba ibig sabihin ng ossification? So, pinaganda lang na word is the formation of bone by osteoblast. No, yung process ng formation ng bone nyo with the osteoblast, yun ang technical term na ossification. Okay? So, may dalawang klase ng ossification in the process. No? So number 1, meron tayong intramembranous ossification. No? Bone formation that occurs within connective tissue membranes. So, osteoblasts begin to produce bone within connective tissue membranes. This occurs primarily in the bones of, ayan, kung makikita nyo class dito, sorry, naputol yung of the skull, no? So, yan yung pinakaunang dapat mamuo, no? Kaya nga class, di ba, kapag naghahawak ng baby, yan yung unang pinoprotektahan kasi nga makikita nyo dito class, no? Hindi pa buong buo yung skull, no? Kahit nanganak na yung nanay, no? Very delicate pa rin yung head ni baby. So, ossification centers, osteoblasts, line up on the surface of connective tissue fibers and begin depositing the bone matrix to form trabeculae. So, yung ossification centers natin, so kung makikita nyo class dito sa unang picture sa upper right, makikita nyo parang may polarization, no? Parang mukhang buko, no? Kung imagine nyo yung buko, parang may center point siya. Yan yung ossification center. Kaya nga word, ossification center, kasi doon nagtitrigger yung osteoblast processing, no? And that's how bone ossification starts. And then, syempre, habang nagtitrigger na yan, paunti-unti siyang nagkakascade and nagbabranching. Tapos, most probably, habang nagtitrigger yan, nag-i-interconnect na yung skull nyo. Kaya nga mapapansin nyo class, sa mga skeletal bones, no, lalo na yung skull, makikita nyo may mga cracks. It's because of this process, no. So kaya mapapansin nyo, bakit kaya may mga cracks? Hindi porket may crack class, meron ng problema. It's structurally normal talagang may crack. It's because of this process, no, pag simula sa pagkabata nyo, okay? Next, meron din tayong endometrial ossification. Ito ay composition ng chondrocytes increase in numbers causing the cartilage model to increase in size. So, si chondrocytes is in the center of the model absorb some of the cartilage matrix and enlarge. The chondrocytes release matrix vesicle which initiate the formation of hydroxyapatite crystals. They die soon after. This causes the cartilage matrix to become calcified, sorry. So basically, tumutulong sa pagpatibay ng buto, okay? So ito na class yung visual presentation on how yung mga buto natin is lumalakas at lumalaki, okay? So sa unang stage, makikita nyo dito, a cartilage model with general shape of the mature bone is produced by, so take note, si chondrocytes yung tumutulong sa maturation ng mga buto. A perichondrium surrounds most of the cartilage model. Sorry, excuse me. Nakita nyo class, yung pinaka-lining ng buto, nandun si perichondrium, okay? The chondrocytes enlarge and cartilage is calcified. So, habang nag-e-expand si chondrocytes in the process of bone production, no, nagka-calcify yung cartilage natin. So, ibig sabihin, tumitigas na siya, nagpo-form na ng structures, no, yung the extracellular matrix natin. A bone color is produced and the perichondrium of the diaphysis becomes the periosteum. So, tandaan class, the perichondrium of the diaphysis becomes the periosteum. Okay? So, bago naging periosteum ang isang bagay, naging perichondrium mo na siya ng diaphysis. Okay? Next, meron din tayo a primary ossification center, forms of blood vessels and osteoblasts invade the calcified cartilage. The osteoblasts lay down bone matrix, ayan, forming trabeculae. So, Si primary ossification center, no, siya yung nagbibigay daan para magkaroon ng blood flow, para tuluyan tumubo, or para mag-expand palalo yung buto. Okay? Magkakasama dyan si cartilage, si trabeculae, no, at saka si osteoblasts para ma-establish yung growth, no. And then, meron din tayong secondary ossification wherein centers form in the epiphysis of long bones. Okay? So, kung makikita nyo, class, no, na ang nahuhuling mag-form or yung tumigas is yung nandun sa pataas. So, manggagaling muna siya sa gitna and magsispread siya hanggang mag-immerse through the epiphysis ng long bones nyo, which is yung dulo ng mga buto nyo. Okay? Ayan na. Na-mention ko na siya. So, ito yung parang pinaka-visual presentation on how nakakaroon ng diaphysis, bone of the, yung breakdown ng bone of diaphysis, and then yung epiphyseal plate nyo, on how the chondrocytes divide and enlarge. So, kung paano siya nag-expand, no? So, yan ay medyo nagtutulungan sa bone development nyo. Okay? So, ang gusto ko lang makita nyo dito, class, no, kung paano kumakapal, tumitibay yung mga buto nyo, and how it is produced, no. So, take note na lang, no. Hindi ko na masyadong lalaliman, pero basahin ko lang din tong 4 steps, no. So, the new cartilage is produced on the epiphyseal side of the plate as the chondrocytes divide and form stacks of cells. Chondrocytes mature and enlarge, matrix is calcified, and chondrocytes die. So, mapapansin nyo dito, class, yung pinaka-important step as the chondrocytes, pag na-serve na ni chondrocytes yung purpose niya for the bone formation, for example, at this extent, yung pag-mature ng mga buto, namamatay siya automatically pag na-serve niya na yung purpose niya. So, na-mention dito, the matrix is calcified, no? So, kung makikita nyo do sa unang step kanina, medyo malambot pa. So, kung makikita nyo, may capacity si chondrocytes yung tumutulong sa pag-expand ng buto in terms of bone formation, no? Until, pag nag-mature, and kapag na-serve niya na nga yung purpose na tumigas yung buto, mamamatay na siya, no? And the cartilage on the diaphyseal side of the plate is replaced by bone, okay? So, sa bone remodeling, so, kung meron tayong formation, meron ding nangyayaring, sabi ko nga sa inyo, merong renovation, no? Kasi nga, take note, si buto, siya yung pinaka-framework, no? So, kaya nga, ang pinaka-background ko talaga dito is mga buildings kasi nga, siya yung framework, siya yung structure ng katawan, no? Siya yung pinaka-foundation kung bakit tayo nakatayo. So, kumbaga sa bahay, nakakaroon ng, yun nga, as I've mentioned kanina, renovations. So, nangyayari din yan sa buto natin, no? So, ang tawag natin dyan, bone remodeling. It is the removal of existing bone by osteoclasts and the deposition of new bone by osteoblasts and occurs in all bone, no? It is responsible for changes in body shape, that adjustment of bone to stress, bone repair, and calcium ion regulation in the body fluids, no? So, sa bone to stress. So, ibig sabihin yan, kaya nga mapapansin nyo, class, no, yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mga industry na nagbubuhat, ayan, kapag, syempre, athlete, usually, yan, makikita nyo yung dahilan kung paano nabubuhay pa yung bones nyo. So, syempre, sabi nga, as mentioned, everything has its own limitation. Kaya nga, meron tayong mga PT at OT dahil sa mga trabaho minsan na very laborious work, no? Or kumbaga very extensive to the point na nagkakaroon na ng injury. It's because, sabi ko nga, may mga hangganan lang ang katawan natin. Pero, syempre, may cases naman na kaya pa ng katawan natin. Dito na papasok yung bone remodeling natin. Okay? So, let's proceed na, no? So, makikita nyo din yung calcium ion regulation, which I will discuss later, no? Involved in bone growth, when newly formed spongy bone in the epiphyseal plate forms a compact bone. So, in cases ng fracture, no, nangyayari din tong bone remodeling, which I will also mention later, okay? Ito na nga. Makikita nyo, class, yung x-ray dito sa picture. Ang example na ginamit dito is fractured humerus, no? Nabalian ng buto. Ano bang madalas na nangyayari? Ito, very common to sa mga sport exposure, pwede rin sa factory workers, or ano pa ba? Car accident, no? Very common to. Pag nadulas sa CR, possible din mangyari, no? Pag hindi kayo nag-iingat. Okay? Meron tayong 4 stages para i-establish yung repair. So, kaya class, no? Hindi porget na balian ng buto, pwede mo na siyang gawin sa bahay, no? As a nurse, and syempre, if magdodoktor kayo, nandito tayo para intindihan kung paano ibalik yung buto. May mga certain cases kasi na hindi enough yung nakikita nyo na inaayos lang, ibinabalik yung buto altogether. May mga cases na kailangan na idaan sa operation, no? Depende yan sa cases. Usually, yung mga inooperahang buto, usually yan yung mga malalaking buto. So, yung mga minor bones, like for example dito, humerus, depende nga sa cases, no? For example, paano kung lumuwa and whatnot, no? Diyan tayo gagamit ng surgery talaga, tapos sesementohin and etc. Which is part na ng decision ng doctors yan. Pero kayo syempre nag-a-assist as I have mentioned. So, kailangan nyo maintindihan, no, kung paano nangyayari to, no? Or even if someone got injured, at least medyo may awareness kayo kung ano yung next step na pwede nyong gawin, no? Pero, syempre, kapag may mga ganong injury, diretso padala nyo na sa hospital kahit may konting alam kayo in context, no? But, this is what happens kapag inayos nyo na, for example, in this situation, binalik nyo na in place yung buto. So, kung makikita nyo dito yung fractured humerus. So, kung makikita nyo, may dalawang picture na pinakita dito. Yung unang portion, nakahiwalay na yung humerus, no? Hindi na siya nakadikit doon sa tamang position niya. At kung makikita nyo, no, grabe yung inflammation nung x-ray. Unlike dito sa second picture sa baba, makikita nyo, medyo nag-stabilize na yung buto. Most probably, sinemento yan or whatever steps na ginawa, no, para mag-stabilize yung position ng humerus nyo. So, what happens kung bakit nagiging okay siya once na inayos? So, this is what happens in the context of how it is formed. So, ang unang step, syempre magkakaroon ng hematoma formation. So, the blood released from damaged blood vessels forms a hematoma. So, kapag may nasisirang blood vessels, class, no, kahit nga sa pagkuha ng dugo, this is common din talaga. Pero, syempre, dahil, as we all know, as I have mentioned, nakikita rin nyo naman sa physiologic features nito, or anatomic features pala nung bone, merong mga blood vessels. So, kapag na-interrupt yung flow niyan, class, syempre, pag may naputol dyan, katulad nga sa fracture, kumbaga sa linya ng tubo, pag nasira yung flow na yung class, syempre, mag-expect kayo magkakaroon ng bleeding process. So, kaya nagkakaroon ng swelling sa loob ng buto. So, pero yan yung biologic response ng katawan natin in cases of inflammation and injury, class, no? Which is, I have mentioned before, no? Yung 5 steps to indication of inflammation. So, just to give you a backstory, no? So, kung makikita nyo, the next step would be the callus formation, no? Tandaan nyo, class, hindi lang yung kalyo sa mga paano pag naglalakad or sa paggigitara na kalyo, ha? Meron din tayong tinatawag na the internal callus forms between the ends of the bones, and the external callus forms a collar around the break, no? So, parang yun yung pinaka-response ng body natin para stabilize ulit yung buto, or kumbaga, fini-fill in ng gaps ng katawan nyo. Yan yung parang pinaka-biologic response ng body nyo. Nagpo-form ng callus inside, and then nagkakaroon din ng callus outside of the
breakage, no? Kumbaga, yan yung nagiging sealant sa nabaling buto. And then, as I have mentioned, ossification, it is where the osteoblast comes to life, no? Wherein, nagtitrigger na naman yung formation. So, tumutulong na si osteoblast dito sa portion ng callus, ossification, where woven spongy bone replaces the internal and external calluses, no? Nagpe-play na ng role si spongy bone, nire-replace niya na. Kumbaga, nagiging bridging process na dito na para mag-stabilize ulit yung buto. And then, sa bone remodeling, which is the last step, no, yung compact bone replaces the woven bone and part of the internal callus is removed, restoring the medullary cavity. So, that's how your bone remodeling happens. So, please take note of the steps kasi baka pag arrange in order yung mangyari. So, dapat maintindihan nyo yung visual context ng picture at the same time on how in context then how it is arranged, no, properly, kung how it is developed, no, from broken to ossification to the remodeling process of the bones. Okay? Bone, yan na nga, yun yung pinakabida sa skeletal system, no? Bone is the major storage site for calcium in the body, and movement of calcium into and out of bone helps determine blood calcium levels, which is critical for normal muscles and nervous system function, no? As I mentioned, kalat yan si calcium sa katawan. Maganda naman siya sa katawan, pero hindi rin maganda pag nasobrahan, as I have mentioned din kanina. So, we will discuss, kaya there's what we call homeostasis because there is a process of balance na nangyayari sa loob ng katawan natin para mag-stabilize, no? Kasi nga, pag hindi, a lot of things could go wrong, no? So, calcium moves into bone as osteoblasts. So, take note, si calcium sumasama kay osteoblasts, build new bone, and out of bone as osteoclasts. So, pumasok si calcium as osteoblast. Ang end product, no? Pagkatapos ng bone remodeling, doon lumalabas si calcium, no? As it breaks down the bone, okay? So, calcium homeostasis is maintained. Tandaan class, hormones. There are 3 hormones. Meron tayong parathyroid hormone, vitamin D, and then si calcitonin. So, kung may makikita nyo dito class, yung site where these hormones are located. So, meron tayong parathyroid hormone and meron na which is found in parathyroid glands. Meron din tayong vitamin D found on skin or diet. O kasi nga kinakain din natin, may mga vitamin D composition and syempre sa skin, meron yan class, no? Kaya nga as I have mentioned, no, very important na magpabilad sa araw kasi there is process later na I will discuss why it's very important, no? And then calcitonin from the thyroid gland, no? So, kaya class, no, pag may problem sa thyroid, no, malaking impact din yung calcium production natin, which could also affect the heart rate, heart condition natin. Kaya very important na ma-well regulate yung calcium natin, no, in general. Okay? So, sa bone and calcium homeostasis, so take note class ha, yung relationship netong parathyroid hormone and vitamin D are secreted when blood calcium levels are too low. Pag mababa yung calcium levels nyo, no, yung parathyroid hormone nyo ay nagre-release, kumbaga yung body nyo nagre-response to release parathyroid hormone and vitamin D. So, kaya class, kapag mahina or mababa ang vitamin D nyo, kaya class, mapapansin nyo or pag may mga kakilala kayo, pag mahina ang bone, kumbaga, prone to bone fracture or in cases nga, sabi ko nga kanina, in cases of osteoporosis or sa age of menopausal, no, which is a very contributing factor talaga sa development as women age, no, biologically speaking, mapapansin nyo, ang laging tinetest, bukod sa calcium, syempre si vitamin D, kasi later, I will discuss why ulit, okay? So, kaya makinig. So, calcitonin is secreted when blood calcium levels are too high. So, si calcitonin, siya naman yung pumapalag kapag nasobrahan naman ng calcium yung katawan niya, okay? So, tandaan nyo, dalawa yung pampataas, iisa lang yung pampababa. Excuse me. So, paano nga ba nagpa-function si parathyroid hormones nyo? Meron 3 simultaneous mechanism to increase blood calcium. So, tandaan din to class, kasi baka mag-fill in the blanks ako, or magkaroon tayo ng matching type, kung ano yung ilalagay na hormone, in which part, tataas ba o bababa. So, kaya you have to understand the very context of these steps, no? On how parathyroid hormone stimulates your increase in blood calcium, okay? So, dito, parathyroid hormone indirectly stimulates osteoclasts to break down bone, which releases stored calcium into the blood. Parathyroid hormone stimulates kidney to take up calcium from the urine and return it to the blood. So, tandaan nyo class, si parathyroid hormone yung nagme-maintain para, yun nga, magstay si calcium sa katawan natin. Take note class, any form of lack of inhibition or control ng hormones, very detrimental siya sa katawan natin, which yung tinatawag nating electrolyte imbalance, no? Konting maling pagkukulang lang or pagkasobra nito mga to, pwedeng magkaroon ng problema sa katawan natin overall. And kidney has a vital importance sa pag-release ng mga toxins and even yung mga electrolytes. Kaya nga may mga test na tinetest yung urine for sodium, potassium, and calcium as well. It's because for this very reason, kasi pag hindi na-monitor tong class, pwedeng mamatay ang patient dahil hindi pwedeng kulang sa hydration, kulang sa electrolytes, and etc. Kaya nga mapapansin nyo class, no, kapag sukat yung diagnosis sa isang pasyente or pag na-hospital na kayo, usually, ang unang actions ng doctors is to fill you up with electrolytes para ma-maintain yung balance, no, apart from calcium, no. Just to add you an idea, no, kung bakit sinasama dito si kidney. Kasi si kidney yung nagre-regulate din ng blood pressure natin, no. So, anything that goes beyond normal or below normal, that is considered abnormal sa katawan natin, especially with electrolytes. So, in the future, ewan ko kung pag-uusapan nyo pa ng malaliman, it will also discuss why nakakaroon importante yung mabalance lahat, okay? So, parathyroid hormone stimulates the formation of active vitamin D, which in turn promotes increased calcium absorption from the small intestines. So, bukod sa tumutulong si parathyroid hormone para i-activate si vitamin D. So, tandaan nyo class, in order for vitamin D to be functional, kailangan niya si parathyroid hormone. Kasi as mentioned dito, stimulator ng vitamin D, si parathyroid hormone. So, kaya class, kung may problema ka sa parathyroid hormone, malaking chance rurupok ang mga buto nyo. It's basically for this very reason, because it's one of the reasons why na-activate yung vitamin D, which in return, tumutulong sa absorption ng calcium natin para tumaas nga. So, kapag may kulang dito sa dalawa na to, mababaliwala ang functionality nila as together. So, kumbaga, partner in crime sila. They are working in tandem to increase the calcium absorption ng katawan nyo. And particularly, sa digestion process, no? Kaya nga, pag may mga pa-diet-diet pa kang nalalaman, kung hindi naman properly balance ang diet nyo, class, ha? Ayusin nyo. Okay? Kasi basically, may impact yan sa outcome ng integrity ng katawan nyo, no? Partly dito sa pinag-uusapan natin yung skeletal system natin. And then next, no? Ito na class yung pinaka-kwento. Picture. To appreciate the context of how the body reacts when the body needs an increased calcium or decreased calcium production. Okay? So, ito yung picture. So, nakikita nyo naman yung may number 1 until to the final step. Papasahin ko and I'll try my best to put you in the picture. So, may picture naman siguro. So, mas lalo nyo naman siguro maintindihan by context. Okay? So, decreased blood calcium. Pag na-detect ng katawan mo, sige, Tagalog natin, if the body, na-sense niya, if the body senses that the calcium is decreasing, that's when the body responds na tumaas ang parathyroid hormone secretion coming from parathyroid glands nyo, no? So, take note class, si parathyroid, kita yan sa thyroid glands nyo. Kaya nga very common dito yung goiter, hyperthyroidism, and hypothyroidism. It all works together class. It makes sense, no? Because they are, kaya nga parathyroid, ibig sabihin kasama dun siya sa thyroid, okay? So, going back, so, si parathyroid hormone, since na-sense nga ng body nyo, inutusan yung brain mo technically ordered your parathyroid hormone to release, mag-secrete, and then that's how, yun nga, na-stimulate yung mga osteoclast, no, para mag-breakdown yung buto nyo, para mag-release ng calcium. Bakit? Kasi ano bang meron sa buto natin? Meron yung calcium. So, ang purpose ni parathyroid is maglabas ng konting katas dyan sa buto nyo para mag-release ng calcium sa blood nyo. Tapos, syempre, nagawa na ni parathyroid hormone na itaas niya yung calcium nyo. Syempre, kailangan niya ng traffic enforcer para pigilan yung process. Dito na papasok na sa kidney. Edi, ang ginawa na nga ni parathyroid hormone, tinulungan niya mag-increase yung calcium nyo. Doon sa loob ng kidney nyo, doon nagko-conduct ng stimulation naman. Doon niya naginigising si vitamin D formation para i-activate niya na, no? Para lalong ma-absorb ng katawan mo yung calcium na kinakailangan kung saan man siya kinakailangan. So, si vitamin D, yung ginigising ni parathyroid in order to increase sa loob ng kidney nyo. And then, si vitamin D, siya naman yung nagpo-promote na i-absorb yung calcium nyo sa small intestine sa loob ng blood nyo, no? So, para mas lalong ma-fully appreciate yung pagtaas ng, tandaan nyo class, si parathyroid, sinistimulate niya si calcium. Tapos si kidney, in the kidney, habang nangyayari yon in the process of osteoclast, nagbe-breakdown ng para mag-release ng calcium, gigisingin na ni parathyroid hormone or stimulate na tinatawag natin, si vitamin D, yung active. Take note class merong inactive version, meron tayong active vitamin D, which helps in the appreciation na i-absorb yung kinakailangan na calcium. Tandaan nyo class, without the vitamin D, hindi fully ma-absorb si calcium. Okay, so basically, nangyayari yung absorption sa small intestine sa blood nyo, okay? So, increased blood calcium, ayan na. Pag na-sense na ng katawan nyo na medyo tumataas na talaga, dyan naman magsistimulate yung body nyo, mag-release ng calcitonin secretion galing sa thyroid gland nyo. So, tandaan nyo, ang traffic enforcer nyo, pag sumusobra na yung calcium nyo, si thyroid gland naman magre-release ng calcitonin to control the increase of calcium sa katawan, no? Kasi calcitonin inhibits osteoclasts, which allows for enhanced osteoblasts uptake of calcium from the blood to deposit into bone. So, kung makikita nyo class, no, very maganda yung kwento, no, on how the body works, no, from increase to decrease, no, of the, para lang ma-maintain yung homeostasis ng calcium nyo and how the bone contributes to that concept, no. So, kaya class, very, take note of this, no, para makatulong din to sa inyo, no, when something's going on with your body, no, lalo na sa mga taong may issues sa mga ganitong topic, no, even in your family, no, or sa mga friends nyo na may pinagdadaanan or may impact, no. Kaya nga class, no, everything that may affect in this cycle, no, that could lead to diseases and what so, no? Kaya maging maingat ka sa kinakain or sa pagtanda nyo, no? Alagaan, okay? So, ito, hindi ko na masyado itong ipapagawa sa inyo kasi sobrang dami ko nang pinagawa sa inyong assignment and even quiz, no? So, I hope you will take note of the different kinds of fractures and what is osteomyelitis and what is carpal tunnel syndrome, okay? That concludes the part 1 of skeletal system, okay?